Chad got a little jump to his step tonight. Amen. You made it look easy.
Proverbs chapter 20, verse 3 tonight. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 3. Just stand whenever you guys get there. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 3 says, "It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling." Let's have Jack House open us up in prayer. Are you guys can see it? You're going to notice I'm probably going to be skipping more and more verses in Proverbs now. That's not me trying to get done earlier. I'm trying to get done quicker. If you just look at some of the verses in chapter 20, look at verse 4. The sluggard will not plow by reason of cold, therefore shall he beg and harvest and have nothing. Verse 5, counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. That stuff should all sound familiar to you guys. We've been over that stuff. If you notice, if you study Proverbs, a lot of verses go with verses in Proverbs. So we might went over that in chapter 10 and I've already referenced it. So there's no reason for me to go back over it the first time. Maybe if I was trying to do a whole study on something, I could do that. But don't think we're skipping verses, just get done quicker. It's just we've already touched on that for the first time. It's good. So we're just going to skip over it for right now. Still great verses. Still read them. Nothing wrong with them. But we referenced all of those. Like verse 10, diverse weights and diverse measures, both of them are like abomination to the Lord. We've talked about that. Preached a whole message about that. So I'm trying to stick to stuff more right now. That not saying you never heard of, because you've heard of stuff, but stuff that's more fresh and not going over the same thing all the time and like deja vu moments. All right. So we're going to start in verse 3. It says, "It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling. It is an honor for a man to cease from strife." I'm not a big military buff knowledge guy. I'm really not. I'm not trying to act like I am. It might be the highest honor. I'm not sure. I really don't know. You can correct me. But the Medal of Honor is a pretty prestigious award, isn't it? You have to do something pretty cool to get that, I'm aware of. You don't just get it for joining the military. To my knowledge. You can correct me, maybe. But it's something. Honor is something that you actually have to do something to get. It just doesn't come naturally. Just because you came to church tonight and sat there and maybe you slept through the whole thing doesn't mean you got honor for coming to church, right? So it's an honor for a man to cease from strife. There's a lot of ways you can go with it. I'm going to try to curve you in a certain direction just for tonight. And I get it. Try not to get caught up in who's telling you all this stuff, right? I always try to remind you guys that. I understand I don't know what you guys go through. I probably wouldn't put up with you guys go through, to be honest with you. I probably wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't want to change lives with you. I understand all that stuff. But no excuses. There shouldn't be a bunch of strife in your households. There shouldn't be a bunch of strife in church. There shouldn't be strife between your relationship with the Lord. Like I said, you guys probably go through a lot worse stuff than I do. If I heard your problems, I'm like, wow, yeah, I wouldn't want to go through that. I get mad if somebody just like farts around me or something, to be honest. Like you're pushing it. You come to my house and fart on my couch, I'm going to be mad. Let's be honest. You go to your parents' house for that stuff and fart on their couch, but you don't come to my house and do that. So it's something everybody struggles with is having strife in their life because you get mad at stuff, right? And I'm not saying you're never going to have an argument with your wife or with your kids or have a little problem with the Lord. I don't want to say you're going to have a problem with the Lord, but I already know your flesh and you're going to question some stuff at times. But it's going to be an honor for you to cease from that stuff. It's going to be great. I wish it was set up like this where I really knew if you did it, and if you did it, I could have the Medal of Honor ceremony for you guys. And, you know, everybody actually care like they do about the military one. Like, I think the military, you're going to meet the president, and it's a big deal. I think it's on TV and everything. I forget, though. But I wish I could make a big deal, but I don't know if you're really doing it or not. Only you know that. But it will change your life for you guys if you go cease from that stuff. Because what you're going to figure out, there's stuff that goes along with strife. Just like there's stuff goes along with doing your job or anything in life. There's characteristics that comes along with strife, and we're going to go through those. It's lust, it's wrath, it's hatred, it's froward, it's transgression, it's contentious, it's proud, there's confusion. That's stuff that goes along with strife. That's why it would be a great honor for you guys to cease from that. But everybody's going to deal with this. Maybe you're dealing with it now, maybe you're not, I don't know. Maybe it's with your kids, maybe it's with your wife, maybe it's the Lord. You pinpoint it. I don't know where you guys are at in life right now. Maybe you're the most on fire person for the Lord tonight. I'm not sure. I hope you are, right? But I really don't know. But the point is to cease from strife, and that's going to be a great honor for you to do that, all right? Does anybody remember, I bring it up a lot because it's something that needs to be talked about a lot, was that Pal's Beautiful thing. You guys can name me some of the rooms in that thing, right? Go ahead if you want, I don't care. But there was a bunch of good stuff in there, wasn't there? A bunch of stuff like, yeah, I really like that. Well, if your house is going to be full of strife, you can build a different type of house, and these will be the rooms. Lust, wrath, hatred, froward, transgression, contentious, proud, confusion. That could be your house. That could be your relationship with the Lord. You're always confused all the time. You're always contentious all the time. Always on edge. Somebody farts around you shouldn't be that big of a deal. But you're on edge all the time because of this and that's happening in your life, and it's a big deal when it shouldn't be. So make sure you're working towards having the right thing. I would not tell anybody to work towards having strife in your house because Proverbs 17:1 tells you it's a no-go, all right? Proverbs 17:1. Proverbs 17:1. It says, "Better is a dry morsel and quietness therewith than a house full of sacrifices with" what? So your house can be full. You can have a relationship with the Lord. You can have a wife. You can have 20 kids. But if there's strife in there, you'd rather be me. Maybe you guys think that at times. I hope not. I really hope for your guys' sake and your guys' honor, you don't look at Mitch Jones like Mitch. I wish I was Mitch. 24 years old, just preaching, single, living life. It is nice. But you should enjoy your family. But that can be something that you can't enjoy. That's what it says right there. There is a dry morsel in quietness. You guys really enjoyed the Lord's Supper Sunday, right? You really enjoyed that bread, didn't you? It was tasty, wasn't it? No. We didn't enjoy the taste of the bread. I don't care who you are. You might be a little upset if I said that's what you're going to eat for the rest of your life. You like it's a dry morsel. It doesn't taste too good, does it? You would be kind of upset if that's what you had to eat. But the Bible says there's a dry morsel in quietness. Nobody talking to me. Then what? House full of sacrifices with strife. So you need to focus on having your house full of honor and you ceasing from strife. Hopefully that makes sense. And like I said, I'm talking about your relationship with the Lord, your family, your kids, the church family, everything, all right? You pinpointed what you need it to be tonight. That's why I like the Bible. There's a lot of options that fits the people. You'll apply it differently than I will tonight. So that's a good thing. But let's look at some stuff strife goes along with. That's why it's an honor to cease from it. So look at James. James, then we'll go back to Proverbs. James chapter 4, verse 1. James 4:1 says, "From whence come wars?" Can you say war is strife? Can you say fighting is strife? Yeah, that's criteria. "From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence even of your what? Lust, I warn your members, ye lust, and have not, you kill and desire to have, and cannot obtain. You fight in war, yet you have not because you ask not. You ask and receive not because you ask amiss, that you may consume it upon your lust." So one of the things that goes along with strife, war and fighting, is lust. That's not something you want to walk into your house and turn the corner and that would be your living room, is lust. Hopefully you guys still have the floor plan, the house beautiful. That wasn't found in there because you were building it the right way. But if you want a house full of sacrifices, a house full of lust, house full of lust, I try to say it, house full of strife, you're going to have some lust. That'd be one thing that goes along with it. You know where that leads to. That's not a good thing. That's not a good character trait to have. That's why it's an honor for you to cease from strife, because these are characteristics of it. Go back to Proverbs. Go back to Proverbs now. 15:30. Proverbs 15:30. Or it's 18:30. Proverbs 15:18. I'm an idiot. There you go. Proverbs 15:18. I wrote the 18 very small, so I thought it was 15:30. Sorry for the confusion. Proverbs 15, verse 18. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. No, I'm just joking. It's Proverbs 15:18. I don't know if you guys ever do that. You get to a verse like, he's not saying the same thing that I'm at. But Proverbs 15:18 says, "A wrathful man does what? Stirreth up strife." So one thing that goes along with strife is a wrathful man. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger does what? Appeases strife. Remember, it's an honor for a man to cease from strife. So if you have strife in your relationship, if you have strife in your house, there's going to be wrath there. I don't know about you guys, but anybody when they're mad and has wrath in an argument usually doesn't go over well with the other person. Usually somebody gets their feelings hurt. Let's be honest. I'm not saying you can't ever get mad. We're not talking about it tonight. We're talking about the stuff you already know, right? 2 + 2 is 4. Not really a very good thing to have in your house is wrath all the time. Feelings get hurt. Relationships get broken away that way. You don't want that with the Lord. You don't want that with your wife, your kids, and your church family. If I came here tonight, it was very wrathful, I got very mad about something, yeah, you'd be like, okay. If it's something biblical, you're okay. But if there's something that I got my feelings hurt on, and I was just dishing it back to you guys, do you think it'd go over really well? You think that point, like, oh, I'm so glad we had that discussion. I'm so glad I came to church tonight so Mitch could just tell me he's my preacher, not my friend, and all this stuff. Right? That doesn't go too far. So that stuff you want to get away from. You want to get away from wrath. Let the Lord handle a bunch of stuff for you, all right? Proverbs 30:33. Proverbs 30:33. Proverbs 30:33. Surely the churning of milk bringeth forth butter, and the writing of the nose bringeth forth blood. I promise you, if you guys punch me in my nose, I'll bleed, all right? That's what happens. You go turn milk, you get butter. That's just facts. That's just what happens, right? Maybe you won't have a bloody nose. Congratulations, but you will. So the forcing of wrath does what? Bringeth forth strife. So if you're going to be wrathful, just like milk turns into butter, just like if I get in a fight, I'm getting a bloody nose, there's going to be strife there. So a smart man appeaseth his wrath. Because like I said, I'm not an idiot, you're not an idiot. Everybody has wrath. Everybody has to deal with getting mad. Only a smart person knows how to get some wisdom from the Lord and knows how to appease it. Instead of me just getting mad at you guys and actually saying what I really think all the time, like that doesn't do too much. All right? So you can get mad at stuff, but you got to learn how to control that. 2 + 2 is 4, right? It's nothing crazy, but this stuff is in the Bible for a reason because everybody deals with it, all right? Proverbs 10:12. Just showing you what's in the house full of strife. So far we got lust. So far we got wrath. Now we're going to have hatred. I can't think of anything opposite than the palace beautiful. I don't know what you'd call this house, but I wouldn't call this thing beautiful, to be honest. There's nothing beautiful about it. Proverbs 10:12. That's why it's an honor, remember, to cease from it. Proverbs 10:12. Hatred stirreth up what? Strife, but love covereth all sin. So when I get mad at somebody, that stirs up strife. Not complicated. I don't want to make it like I'm teaching preschoolers, but you guys can apply it to your life pretty easy. I did something you don't like, you're probably going to say something. I'm not going to like what you say, so I'll say something back, and then there you go. And you're off with the argument, right? I hope you guys never argue with me, but I'm using me, so I don't say, and your wife that's sitting right next to you, when you don't get too specific, right? Or your husband. So we use me. But you know how that stuff goes. It stirs up emotion in you to cause some strife in your house when you have some hatred there. So we got to get away from that because it's an honor to cease from it. You don't want that stuff involved in your relationship with the Lord, with your wife, kids, or your church family. Proverbs 16:20. I keep saying the same thing so you guys get the point. There can be no confusion. 16:28. Proverbs 16:28. Proverbs 16:20. A froward man does what? Soweth strife, and whispers separateth chief friends. But a froward man soweth strife. So one thing that goes wrong with strife is frowardness. If you don't know the word, that's all right. Look it up tonight. You got homework. I always like to give you guys a little room to grow on yourself, so I'm not spoon feeding you everything. Look it up. Froward. A froward man soweth strife. I hope you guys don't say any of this stuff about me in our relationship. I hope none of this stuff goes along with it. Wrath, lust, hatred, frowardness. It's not a compliment in any sense of the way. It wouldn't be a compliment if the Lord said, yeah, that's what I think our relationship, that's what you're acting. It wouldn't be a compliment. It wouldn't be a compliment that's what he said, this is what this church is acting like. It's full of strife, and what he means there, it's full of wrath, it's full of hatred, it's full of frowardness, it's full of contentious, it's full of pride. That wouldn't be a compliment. So that's something you got to fix, because I would rather sit in the corner by myself with quietness, my dry morsel, than have to deal with that stuff. I'm just being honest. My point of view, you guys can do it. I would rather just not come to church here if that's what I'm going to deal with. I'll just go somewhere else. That's why people go somewhere else, right? Because there'll be problems. But be faithful and try to fix some stuff, all right? Next thing, Proverbs 17:19. Proverbs 17:19. Because I don't care who you are, nobody wants to put up with this stuff. In your flesh, like, why would I want to put up with any of that stuff? Well, don't put up with it and cease from it, and it'll be a great honor to you guys. It's here to help you guys out, okay? Proverbs 17:19, another thing that goes along with strife. He loveth transgression, that loveth strife, and he that exalteth his gate seeketh destruction. He loveth transgression, that loveth. So transgression goes along with strife. You messing up all the time, you being an idiot, goes along with strife. If you mess up in any relationship, there's going to be some problems there, some consequences. There's going to be some strife. I'm not saying you can't fix it, but it causes some strife. It causes some strain on the relationship, whether it's the Lord, whether it's the church, whether it's your wife or kids. There's a strain there and some strife there when you do some transgressions. I don't have to go, that's what I'm saying. You could go through this stuff, take 6 years on it if you want. I could go through a list of transgressions, but you guys can do that if that's what you really want to do. Don't be causing a bunch of transgressions in your relationship with the Lord and your wife and kids and church family, all right? That's what people with strife do. We don't want that. We cease from that stuff. It's a great honor. Like I said, I wish I could give you guys a Medal of Honor, and no, but I can't. The Lord will, though. All right, so you don't need it from me anyways, right? But Proverbs 20, come on, Mitch. 28, can you guys read that? 26, I don't have my glasses on. 26, 21. Proverbs 26, 21. Proverbs 26, 21 says, as coals are to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. So a contentious man keeps the strife going. I don't care who you are, everybody at times is contentious. Everybody has their days where they're feeling froggy. That's why I would say box each other, but you can't. That's just not the way to do it. But you're going to have to get that stuff out of your system, okay? You can't be going around stirring the pot all the time, being contentious. That's what it says you do. I don't know if you ever built a fire, but you don't have fire without wood. You don't have strife without somebody being contentious. So make sure that's not something in your house. I wish, like I said, I want to know everything about you. I really don't. But it would be very interesting to me if the Lord could hand me a sheet and show me your guys' house and what rooms you have in there. I'd be like, oh, wow. Some people might get a good grade. Some people might not. Some people might have half the house that we showed earlier, but they have 3 rooms of proud, hatred, and lust in there. Well, those got to go still too, all right? So make sure you're still working on that stuff because it's going to be an honor for you to have a great relationship with the Lord, your wife, kids, and your church family, all right? Proverbs 28:25. Proverbs 28:25. Proverbs 28:25. He that is of a proud heart stirreth up strife, but he that putteth his trust in the Lord shall be made fat. And you can keep reading if you like, but he that has a proud heart stirreth up strife. So if you're having strife in your relationship with those 4 things, there's a problem. Diagnose it. I don't know if it's because you're being proud and you think you know everything over the other person or the Lord or over what I'm teaching tonight, or you have some type of transgression you're trying to hide, or I don't know. But you need to self-diagnose it tonight to figure out why there's strife in that relationship and get it fixed. Because it's an honor, a great honor, to cease from strife. James 3:16, the last one here I'll show you. Because hopefully you guys get the point by now. Hebrews, James 3:16. James 3:16. It says, for an envying and strife there is confusion in every evil work. For when envying and strife there is confusion in every evil work. I don't want my relationships to be confused. I want to know where I stand. I want to know what's going on. I want to know the path I'm on. I'm very like that. I like to know my direction in life. I don't like to sit there and be confused all the time. I don't do stuff that's confusing to me. I don't know if you guys know that or not. I won't go and try to build you a legit house because it's confusing. I don't know how to do that. There's not enough YouTube videos in the world for me to do that for you. It's too confusing. I like to know what I'm doing. I like to know direction. But there's strife in the house. There's going to be confusion and evil work. There's confusion in your relationship with the Lord is because, well, there's strife there because you're blocking something and doing stuff. You got to get rid of that stuff. That's why Proverbs 23, hopefully you understand now why it's a great honor for you guys to cease from that stuff. Maybe when you first read that verse, you're like, it's honor for me not to go up to Chad and smack him in his face. It's meaning a lot more than that. I know that's where you guys just think of automatically. Oh, let me go and say hello to the Walmart greeter this time. Usually I just blow right by him and don't even say anything. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your relationship with the Lord, your wife and kids, and us as a church whole, to see some strife, and that's going to be not having wrath, hatred, froward, transgression, contentious, proud, and confusion. That's what it's actually meaning. Like I said, I'm not the best at relationships and everything, but if I am going to have a relationship with you, I want it to be good. Make it worth my while. If not, I don't need it, right? So make sure, as a church, we're not, because I'll be honest, and you can be honest, I don't like people in general. I can be cold-hearted at times, just because I know what you are, you know what I am. That's why the Bible says, with wisdom is great sorrow at times, because you know too much, right? When you know too much, you get sorrowful and make you cold-hearted, but that doesn't mean you can be a jerk to everybody and think you're better than them and proud and contentious and always putting people down. Doesn't mean that. We can still serve the Lord, even though we're all pieces of junk, basically, right? We can still do that. No problem. But you got to fix it, okay? You don't want to have a house full of strife, because it's not going to lead to anywhere good for you guys. You'll be coming in all upset. Then I'll try to get on you. Not try to get on you, but the Bible gets on you just in general. And then you can even get more upset. So that's not what we're trying to do here tonight, trying to get here to fix it. I don't think you come here to get even more mad. You'd be a pretty sick person if you come to church to get even more mad. Like, that's not really doing too much. Come here to get it fixed, right? And the Bible's trying to show you, cease from strife, because all those characteristics go along with it. So that's kind of the main point we're going with tonight, but there is other stuff we'll talk about here for another few minutes. But make sure when you go to the altar, that's one thing you're going to be thinking about in all your relationships. Go back to Proverbs, though. Go back to Proverbs, changing thoughts now. We have about 10 minutes still. Proverbs 20, verse 9. Because this is a good verse, because nobody can say they did it all by themselves. Nobody can say, oh yeah, I'm Mitch Jones because Mitch Jones. I can't say that. I can't say I'm a preacher because I was just so good, and I'm just a preacher because of that. No. That's why you shouldn't get too mad at people, because you can't do it by yourself either, all right? But just realize where it comes from. Proverbs 29, who can say I have made my heart clean? I am pure from my sin. Nobody can say that they did that by themselves. I can't say, well, I prayed to Mitch Jones last night, and we got it all taken care of. All good to go. I'm going to heaven now. I can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say you're a good husband or a good preacher or a good church member or a good servant of the Lord just because you're so good. That's not how it works. Nobody can say that. If you are good at it, it's because the Lord showed you some stuff and you opened your eyes to it and you actually applied it. So make sure you just realize that. Help you not get so mad at people, because, like I said, you probably wouldn't like me too much if I wasn't a preacher either. I'd just be like everybody else. I'd probably be worse than everybody else. You'd be like, yeah, not the guy to hang around, right? But go to Job. I'll show you what Job said. Esther, Job 9:19. Job 9:19. Job 9:19 says, if I speak of strength, lo, he is strong, and if of judgment, who shall set me a time to plead? And if I justify myself, my own mouth shall condemn me. If I say I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. So praise the Lord if you guys are strong at being a good, church member or servant of the Lord. But you can't do that by yourself. You needed the Bible to show you a lot of stuff along the way. And that's going to be the Lord showing you how to be that strong. So just make sure you understand that. That's going to be not being proudful and causing strife in it. You'll learn all that stuff that goes along with it. You'll learn to get out of the way more, and it'll help you out in your relationships. Because I'm not trying to be your psychiatrist tonight. I'm never going to be that. But the first thing they try to do is, get more involved in your relationship, get more involved. And I'm not saying you can't get more involved. But you getting more involved can be even more annoying, just being honest. Get your flesh more involved and see how that works out for you. Get the Lord more involved. Get the Bible more involved. Get Proverbs down. Get that in you. And you guys can actually not have confusion and know, okay, I'm trying to do this in my relationship with the Lord. I'm trying to do this in my relationship with the wife. I'm trying to do this in my relationship with my kids. I'm trying to do this in my relationship with my church family. You can actually have some direction there. But if I'm just going to start telling you stuff, then it gets real confusing. Go to Philippians 4:13. Everybody probably knows this verse, but it's just driving home the point for you. Philippians 4:13. Philippians 4:13 says, "I can do all things through Christ, which does what?" So you're not going to get strength from Mitch Jones. You're not going to get. You can't do everything in life through Mitch Jones. Vice versa, your husband and wife. You can't do everything through them, but you can actually have this stuff through the Lord. I know it seems crazy. I think, oh, there's no way. There actually is. You actually can see some strife, but it's going to take the Lord's strength in you not to do that stuff. You actually have to dedicate yourself to it. I hate using a bunch of illustrations, but if you give your chance to self to quit, you're going to quit. You can't do that, and the Lord will strengthen you not to do that. Okay, I've learned that with Mitch Jones. I can, for the most part, physically speaking, do about whatever I want, but I have to be in the mood to do it. If I'm not in the mood to do it, it's not happening. I could go run so many minutes and miles, but I have to be in the mood to do it. I have to be in the right mind frame. If not, I'll never do it because I'll get my chance to self to quit and I'll do it. So don't just give yourself a chance, an easy way out, because everybody deals with strife in their house and their relationships. So don't be quit the first time something goes wrong, all right? But let's see. Yeah, we got all the time. Go back to Proverbs. Go back to Proverbs. There we go. And then we'll close with this here. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 12. Proverbs 20:12 says, "The hearing ear and the seeing eye the Lord hath made, even both of them." Something very interesting about it. It says that what type of ear? The hearing, and what type of eye? Seeing. Believe it or not, they're not just decor to your body. You're supposed to use them to hear what the Lord's trying to tell you at times. You're supposed to use your eyes to see the truth that's coming down the pike. He didn't give it to you just so we didn't look weird and like aesthetically pleasing. We would look weird without ears or without eyes, but praise the Lord, He actually gave them to you so you can hear and you can see. So Proverbs 19:20 talk about you need to hear. Proverbs 19:20, very important that you actually use them. That's what the Lord created them for. Proverbs 19:20, hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. That's all Proverbs is doing with you. It's giving you instructions. I know you probably feel almost half attacked half the time you come here on Wednesday nights, but that's what Proverbs is constantly. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. It's a lot of instructions. You guys probably don't like to read instructions. If you put something together, you probably don't even read the instructions. If I put something together, I have to because it doesn't even compute with my brain. But read the instructions. You got to hear it though, right? So you'll be wise in thy latter end. You actually can enjoy your wife when you're 40 years old. You don't look at a guy like Mitch Jones and be like, man, I wish I was still Mitch. No, you actually enjoy being you because you listened with your ears that the Lord gave you that you can listen to. And that happens. Proverbs 2:2. Proverbs 2:2. Proverbs 2:2 says, "So that thou incline thy ear unto wisdom, and apply thy heart to understanding." So the Lord gave you an ear to hear for a reason, because He wants you to hear what He's trying to tell you. He's got instructions, He's got wisdom for you, but you have to listen. Just like your kids have to listen, you yell them all day, but they ain't listening, it don't matter. That's probably one of the most annoying things. Once again, you want to cause some strife with me. If I try to talk to you and you don't listen to me, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Get out of my face. You trying to have a conversation and they're just like in La La Land. It gets annoying. I don't know about you guys. Causes some strife though. So listen to what the Lord's trying to tell you, because that can cause some strife in your relationship with the Lord. All right, wife, kids, church family. Matthew 11. Matthew 11, 15. Then we got 3 more verses and we're done. Matthew 11, 15. Now you see why the Bible sets it up this way. The Bible sets it up for a young man to read Proverbs, so he's not 60 years old just figuring all this stuff out. He wants you to know this stuff before you jump into the world. That's why he says it's for the young man, because it will show you a bunch of stuff. Matthew 11, 15. I'm not saying if you're 60 you can't learn anything. I'm just saying it's nice. The Bible sets it up. You can actually learn it before you have to go to the school of hard knocks. Matthew 11, 15. He that hath ears to hear. Do you guys have ears to hear? Yes, because Proverbs 20:12 says that. God created ears so you can hear. So you fit that criteria, and it says to do what? Let him hear. I'm not trying to teach you like preschoolers here. I'm really not. But you got to keep it basic and apply this stuff. And then if you want to start talking about some crazy stuff in the Bible, we can. But this is stuff you got to get down first. Now, the scene, Psalms 119:18, because he made the eyes for you guys to see there in Proverbs 20:12, remember? Now, Psalms 119:18. Psalms 119:18. Psalms 119, verse 18. I know there's a lot of verses tonight, but I promise you, we just got a few more. You'll be good. Psalms 119:18. Open thou my eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law. Doesn't say to open your eyes so I can go home and watch the Raiders game. I make fun of the Raiders because you guys know me. I really like the Raiders. So I make fun of you, don't make fun of it. How's that sound? No. But open thou my eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of. I don't know if you guys know this, but you read the Bible, you have to actually be able to see. I would hate to be blind. There's ways around it. But I'm very glad I can see. That way I can see stuff the Lord wants me to do. I'm glad He set it up that way. He set it up for me to actually to succeed. One thing I don't like is if you give me a task and I can't succeed at it no matter what I do. That makes me very upset, I'll be honest with you. Don't do that to me, all right? Matthew 6:22. Matthew 6:22. Matthew 6:22. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of what? Darkness. If therefore thy light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? Now I know there's a lot of stuff going on there. But simply, good practical application for you guys just real quick. Careful what you're looking at. The Lord made it where you can see stuff, so be looking at the right stuff. All right? Not hard. How you see stuff is how you're going to be thinking about. That's what I think about during the day. You can either think about stuff about the Bible, or I can think about stupid stuff all the time. So be looking at the right stuff, and we'll close with Genesis 2:19. Genesis 2:19. Well, it's not Genesis 2:19, but I'll figure it out. Oh, is it? Sorry, guys. Genesis 21:19. As you can tell, yes, I don't have very good eyesight. There is a one there, isn't there? You guys are just going to let me drown, too. I appreciate it. Genesis, yeah, it did. So I'm like, hold on. That's not what I'm trying to talk about. But I can make it try to act like I'm talking about, but I don't want to do that. Genesis 21:19. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad to drink. So God can open your eyes to the truth and give you stuff to drink. Hence, He gave you open your eyes tonight. It's a great honor for you guys to see some strife. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, He opened your eyes to that tonight. Instead of me just thinking that means say hi to the Walmart greeter. go ahead and say hi to the Walmart greeter. I don't really care, to be honest. Be my guest. Be a nice person in general. But it really means get away from that stuff so you can actually have good relationships, all right? But that's it for tonight. We're moving on next week to something else, but who knows what it is yet. But go ahead and come to the altar, pray about what you guys heard, because everybody's going to struggle with this at times. But that's it.